AccessTV.org, grassroots social media television.
AccessTV.org. Your family, your friends, we are where you are.
The business of marriage. Hello and welcome once again to the OEG's UnScripted with Reese and Grace.
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening. Good evening.
Hello, husband, who I am married to.
Yes, who we are married to and have businesses, plural, with.
Yes.
This is part 2 of the business of marriage. Last week we got pretty in depth with some questions regarding marriage and the business that sometimes surrounds marriage, and we had a little bit of fun, talked a little bit of
how we get
stuff.
through some conflicts, if that exists at all. And of course, we don't have any conflicts, right? We're just like the perfect couple, haha.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we're good.
No,
we're good.
no,
We're good.
wrong.
We talked about a lot of issues pertaining to marriage, and hopefully we're able to take something from that. But we're excited to be able to continue that tonight.
Yes, we have some very special guests with you via phone. We have the amazing and talented, wonderful couple, David and Tamela Mann, are live with us on the phone. Hello, can you hear us?
Yes, sir. Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
Say again?
Can you hear us? How you doing?
Yes, we're good. We can hear you well.
Excellent, excellent. So we just want to remind our viewers really fast that they can reach us here live at 914-ACCESS-1, also 914-222-3771 if you want to talk live with Mr. and Mrs. David and Tamela Mann. So, Mr. and Mrs. David and Tamela Mann were recently on the cover of Essence magazine. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Ebony.
You were.
Oh, yes.
No, but you were also in Essence. We read an
Yeah,
article in
you were on Essence. We saw you on Essence.
Yeah. But not the cover yet. But praise the Lord. Thanks for calling that in.
Well, let's speak it in. We'll speak it in for you.
Yes.
You know what, though?
Excited to be on the cover, though. Excited to be on the cover. Especially coming from our Christian background and, it being the black love, because it's rare because we don't have a lot of drama and stuff going on. So for us to be chosen to be on the cover, for us it was a big honor. Because you gotta, with Ebony, you had the president, you had, what I call major celebs, and we don't consider ourselves as major celebs.
Well, I think there's a lot of people that would disagree with that, but it's good that you are humble like that. It's amazing that you remain humble like that.
Well, thank you. We were just great, happy for the opportunity to just share our story. How we've been together for 25 years, going on 26 years in April. But it's really been a blessing and being in the industry and everything. So it's just been a wonderful journey together.
Let me ask you this. You said that you don't have a lot of stuff going on, and I remember. I think that your story is inspirational because you probably don't realize that looking at Essence, we were in one of the stores one day and they pulled different couples out, and at one point they actually did highlight you, and so we have to kind of make sure that you see that. We'll have to email you or something like that, because I guess the question for me is what is it about you that you said you don't have a lot of mess going on? Why is that?
Well, what we want to do and what we wanted to do was show people that you can have positive love. And not, I know they did an article with black love, but we just wanted to show them that you can be kingdom-minded and still love each other and not have all the stuff that mainstream media wants you to have. Is drama, craziness. We wanted to show that our life, of our lives, and putting Him first, and God has opened doors for us, and we just want to share with other people that it can be done. And share our journey that, it can be done. It definitely can be done.
Should marriage be viewed as a business? We talk about the business of marriage. Should it be viewed as a business?
The business of marriage?
Yes.
It can be, for us, because everything that we've accomplished in this business has been through our marriage and through our unity. It's kind of like a unknown thing in the industry that they kind of come as a package. So for us, our marriage has become a business. With us going out and just spreading hope, it has kind of turned into a business, so to speak.
Okay, so with this topic being the business of marriage, in your own words, how would you actually define, or what comes to mind when we talk about the business of marriage?
Well, I can look at it a couple different ways. It's the business of being married. Because it's work. And surviving in the business. I mean, especially in entertainment, it's kind of like most people put in a few years, and after that, it's like the end. Let's start over somewhere. But we just took, divorce is not an option, or just like quitting is not an option in our business of our marriage. If that's the way you want to put it. And this is the best job that I've ever had. Yes. And it's the hardest job I've ever had. Yep.
Uh-oh.
You have to work at it just like your business. You have challenges just like you do in your everyday life. You have ups and downs. So we just have to. We just decided that we're going to work through whatever storm, whatever test that come with me. Then we're going to stand the test of time and work together. Work our business, our marriage business.
So how does that work, especially where you live together, you're married, but then you also work together? You have a brand name all your own. I mean, especially through if I could say his name, through the Tyler Perry brand. You're known for Mr. Brown and Cora. You're always working together, but then you're always together outside of the camera. How does it ever kind of, I don't want to say conflict, but does it ever kind of cross over? Like if you have, some marriages may have issues that arise. Does that ever affect how you work professionally together?
No, for us, because you know what? It was my heart's desire in the beginning that I wanted my spouse to be in the same line of business that I was in. So I wouldn't try to have to explain what I was doing, because they already knew what I was doing if we came together as a whole. Our business started out as music, and then it expanded into, the stage plays and television and all that stuff. And you know what? Another thing, let me add this. The question is also, and this kind of goes with that question, is how do we juggle, how do we balance our marriage and the business that we're in?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And I always let people know for sure that we don't balance our marriage with anything, because that means you're giving it the same amount of time, the same weight, the same attention. Our marriage comes first before everything else.
That's powerful.
It outweighs anything else that we do in this industry, in this business, whatever it is. So we make sure that we give our marriage more time than anything.
That's powerful.
I love that. So in terms of the roles that each of you have, do you actually define roles, or do you have expectations of each other within your marriage?
Do we what again?
Do you have expectations of your specific roles within your marriage, or do you just, work within what you each offer?
Well, we kind of know what, it's kind of like a role of, I know his strong points, he knows mine, and it's like we kind of work in, it's like staying in your lane. Like, the words like on the street is of people that just say, I stay in my lane of things that I know my strong points, and vice versa for him, and it works for us. And we allow each other to operate in our strengths, and we cover each other's weaknesses. And that's what I think happens, doesn't happen a lot of times in this industry, when you have couples working in this industry, because we're in the industry of me, watch me, see me, and they don't cover each other's strengths and weaknesses in this industry. And we're all about promoting each other and what we do best.
That's
Okay.
amazing. I love that.
That's good.
When it's our turn to shine, I want to be totally out of the spotlight. I want to be out of the way. I don't want him to be out of the way, though. I like him to be right there.
I can relate to that. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, that sounds exactly like us,
It does.
actually. I have a question. We have to get ready to go to break, but before we do, I have one more question that we'd like to touch on. With YouTube, last week we talked about power couples. You know, we talked about the Carters, the Obamas, the Smiths, Will and Jada. Are power couples often perceived to be, or celebrity couples rather, you know, perceived to be perfect couples?
Yes, because, you know, especially with the spotlight always on you, what we always tell people is we're not a perfect couple. What we are, we're a work in progress. And we just happen to have a platform to show people how we work things and how our work in progress goes.
And trust me, everybody have problems. You may not see it, you know, we may not show it out in the open, but everybody goes through something. So I can't say it. Well, for us, we're not perfect, but we just want people to know that you can still make your marriage work with problems. I mean, if you're going through something versus, you know, have some kind of adversity.
Now, is that ever difficult, though, especially being on the spotlight so often? Is it ever difficult to keep, you know, those issues private?
Exactly. Like, how much do you decide what you put out there in the public and what you won't put out there?
And even if I'm sorry if you don't mind me just adding one more thing to that, even things that are not intentionally put out there, like how do you keep that in?
So it's a little different because what you see is pretty much what you get.
Ah,
You know, she always knows I may say anything.
That sounds like my husband, David.
Huh?
That sounds just like my husband, and I'm the one, Tamela, who's reeling him back all the time.
So, you know,
you just got to put me on blast.
I do.
Yeah, we don't have any hidden agendas, any hidden secrets, you know, we just put it out there.
Okay.
But I've learned to separate too. When it comes to work, like if we did have a little spat at home, when I get to work, I know it's work time, and I'm not gonna come to work with it on my face that he's done made me mad or upset me. You know, it's like I'm at work, and then once we get home, if we didn't get it resolved before we got to work, when we came back from work, we sit and we talk about it. It's like you take a little cool period, and it's like, hey, you know,
Okay.
handle it like this, you know, maybe one of us said something out of line, we apologize to each other, and let's get it fixed. What is it can I do to make it work? What is it I do to make it better?
Great.
Tamela, no, we're wrestling right here because I have to say, wife to wife, how long did it take you to perfect that? Because I am very good at that. You know, we actually had an issue before we came into the show, not today, but I'll just say one of the shows. And Reese was basically saying, you know, I want us to have a good show. And I said, we're going to have a good show. And he goes, are you sure? And I'm like, I'm sure we're going to have a good show because I know how to do that. But, you know, how long did it take for you to perfect that art as a wife?
I don't think it happened because we've been doing it. You know, we've been together for so long, working. You know,
We've been together for 20 years, so
we've been doing it together, so it's just kind of right off the top.
Okay.
Okay.
for us, though, we've been friends for so long. Like, before we got married, we were just strictly friends.
Okay.
And so, you know, we being mad at each other for us is weird because it's a whole different dynamic because we were friends. So, you know how you mad at one of your friends?
Uh-huh.
That was weird. So, you know, we just happen to be married. I just happen to marry my best friend.
And it just
So-
don't last long. I don't know. For one day, it's really crazy for real, so he makes me laugh. So
Yeah.
it's hard for me to stay mad at him a long time because he'll do something and I'll just bust out laughing.
See, I think that's a little trick. That's a little trick that husbands do.
See, Grace won't let me ask this next question.
Ask the question.
No,
We
no,
have 60 seconds.
no offense, Tamela, but I'm asking David. David. I said no offense, Tamela, but I'm asking David this one.
Okay.
David, you mean to tell me there's never been a time backstage after an issue, something like that, you might walk by each other. Yeah, Grace is laughing because she knew where I'm going. That never got like a snicker or like an eye roll or something like that, or
I
you know,
don't
I'm
do
gonna get
that.
you when we get home, because I get that often.
You do not.
No, because we just kind of, I don't know, we, you know, our biggest thing is we hate to cheat the people.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I can honestly say we kind of, see, Tam is really good at that, because me, I go the silent way when I get mad, but her deal is she's pretty much the peacemaker. I mean, I can honestly say, she don't allow me to be mad with her.
I'm gonna
Thank you. That's beautiful.
She's the kind that cooks breakfast for you after she's mad.
I can relate to that. That's right. There you go.
You
A
got
black man, that scare you anyway because you think she's trying to kill you.
nice. You got Grace over here laughing right now,
I
just
love
so you
it.
know, because you sound like us. We have to go to break. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Again, we definitely we invite your calls, 914-ACCESS-1, 914-222-3771. We're talking live with the wonderful and delightful David and Tamela Mann. We'll be right back on OEG's Unscripted with Reese and Grace.
I'm very happy to be here tonight to congratulate and support AccessTV.org. AccessTV.org has reached hundreds and thousands of people. It's done a great job informing the community about important issues in our city, our state, and our nation. I congratulate Stan Mccauley and Naisha for the job they've done. And now with their new format, which will reach many more people and which will be available through many more formats, the future is very bright for AccessTV.org. Congratulations, and may you continue your mission of informing our community. Thank you very much.
At Hartford Public Schools, we care about one thing above all, the future of our kids. That's why we're dedicated to providing all students with the knowledge and skills needed in the new global culture. Hartford Public Schools is thriving. More student success stories, more world-class facilities, more university and corporate partnerships, more amazing talent coming and staying in Hartford. This is how education is supposed to work. Welcome to Hartford Public Schools, where the future is present.
Have you ever had a hard time making friends? Or felt that no one could ever accept the real you? With over 30 years of experience instructing and developing artistic youth programs, author E. Diane Cook shows children the power of love in her new illustrated book, the second in a series offering young readers fun-filled, exciting stories that teach the value of acknowledging and embracing others. Follow Keturah Anderson's adventure with a story about learning to love others and yourself. And discover a town with colorful characters who are judged by what is seen on the outside. The Andersons, Keturah's Bedtime Story. Available online at www.amazon.com.
And we're back. The OEG's Unscripted with Reese and Grace. We are live on the phone with Mr. and Mrs. David and Tamela Mann. We're talking about the business of marriage. So we're back.
Yes.
We had quite the discussion off the air.
Yes.
So we're back. And Grace is going to pick it up.
Yes, you know them certainly as from Meet the Browns, as well as father daughter. But what I love about this couple is that they are real life husband and wife, and really have a very strong inspirational marriage. And so, what I would like to ask you too is, how do you keep the spark alive in your marriage? How do you keep things going? It's been a long time for you two. So how do you do that?
One thing is just being spontaneous. Sometimes we want to keep each other, guessing and thinking. What's coming up next?
I change it up. I give him a new hairdo, new hair color. I may put on my, some long hair, some high heels.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, we're talking about marriage. Whatever it took for me in the beginning is what I want to happen now. So I just kind of give him something new.
I can't change my hair color.
No?
I try to keep myself looking good.
You have to refresh it, and my thing is, my prayer to God is to keep the spark burning for only David Mann. I mean, to keep my heart and everything yielding for him.
Yes.
And only him, so that's one thing that I do for my personal life, for my relationship.
A lot of times I'll like reminisce about how we first met, or dating, or some little memory. And sometimes Reese will ask me, "Are you okay?" You kind of reminiscing a lot. And I think that's what I'm doing. Is it's just trying to, just remind each other of that thing that got us together and that keeps us together. And so.
Yeah, rekindle the spark. Because sometimes we just, we need to go back to that place. When we were on the phone all night talking about nothing.
Yeah.
When we didn't have the money to be able to go and do what we can do now, just stuff that kept us together because we just simply loved each other. We were just simply in love. So you just have to keep reminded of those kind of things.
Yeah.
So for guys, David, last week we talked about how we men need to pay a little more attention. How much attention do you feel like you have to pay, if that makes any sense? As to when
to keep her happy.
Yeah, to keep her happy when Tamela gets her hair done, when she puts on those heels. How much do you feel like, or how much do you notice actually, if you don't mind me asking?
Now for me, that's a little different, guys. I'm a part of the glam squad, so to speak.
He is very attentive.
Okay.
Very.
Okay.
As soon as I walk in the house, I know you asked him. But as soon as I walk in the house, trust me, he has me turning around like I'm a Barbie doll. Let me
Oh, that's so sweet.
That's so nice.
Hey, you have to understand, I used to be a hairstylist for 10 years.
Oh, really?
Really?
women.
Only ladies. And so when it comes to putting her full package together, hair, makeup, wardrobe, I'm very hands-on. And her glam squad and her team knows, okay, let's call Daddy first. Let's call David.
Let's call Daddy.
I love it. I love that.
Yeah.
That as a husband you can be
I
involved.
made a hairstylist, man, a million things.
Now,
But he compliments me constantly. So I really appreciate about him, and I love that about him, that he makes me feel very confident, even with me being a thick girl. He's always.
You think? Nobody ain't telling me that.
Tamela, I get
Great-
that too.
great-
I'm thick too.
Grace doesn't understand that I don't see the same thing she sees. Her thickness for me is something I enjoy. Since we're talking about
He
since
doesn't.
we're
He
talking
lets
about
me know,
marriage,
too. He lets me know. I'll give him that.
since we're talking about marriage for a second, the bed of marriage is undefiled. Thank you. Hallelujah. I enjoy her thickness.
Okay, you guys can't see him right now, but he is got his fists
My
clenched
fists
in
are
the air,
clenched.
just like in the moment.
And
I understand I know what you're talking about, bro.
David, he touches inappropriately a lot.
Yeah. That's
Good.
where you're supposed to touch him.
Exactly. Yes.
Wow.
You're supposed to grope.
I love that.
You're supposed to.
You just be touching wherever. Just
Yeah. Yes.
I love it. I love
Fine.
it. See?
Finally, somebody gets it.
I get it because I'm usually the target of it, and I love it, and I try to do that back.
You know one thing with men, what we have to do is we have to affirm our women. Like, if another guy comes up and tells a woman you look good, she'll thank him for the compliment.
Uh-huh.
But I've already told her anything he's gonna tell her.
Hello.
Okay. Okay.
There's no way this is gonna make move my head because he told me that I look nice. Because I hear it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You be the
So
first.
I just keep, for some women or people, when they don't get it at home,
They go seek it somewhere else.
yes, they kind of sway off to the left, to the right, But when you hear it and we do it at home, that's doing everything that I always say for our
When you
spouse.
say do it, what do you mean?
Do whatever it takes to keep my spouse happy.
Oh, do it. Like
Oh, do it. Oh, yeah.
I have another question. I have a couple actually. One is about just letting other people into your marriage, friends. How do you feel about that? Friends, family, especially when you have like conflict. How do you deal with that when people want to give you advice about your marriage?
Yeah, if I feel it's going to help, and I feel it's going to build, and I feel that you're an asset and not a liability to my marriage, you can stay. But anything that comes to be a liability or comes to hurt and not grow our marriage, I'll cut it off. Whether that's family, friends, business, it doesn't matter. If it's not an ally, then it's a
So how do you know though if it's really an asset or a liability? Is that over time or is that with experience?
I would say with time, I mean, because I'm not gonna let anybody really in if I don't know.
Now you kind of know. You know that those conversations that you have when you're with the fellas and you having that conversation.
Uh-huh.
And what I would do if I was you, I would just go ahead and I would, wait a minute. You're gonna become a liability because you're gonna try to talk me into doing something that's not gonna grow my marriage and grow my relationship.
All right.
And even vice versa, if I'm at the beauty shop and I'm listening to some of the women's conversations, like, your man or somebody do this, I'm like, no, I can't agree with that. That, something that's kind of off, just way off, that doesn't apply to my marriage.
And then your friends, like I use Tam's mom as an example, and she's deceased now, but we had an argument, like a good argument, and you can go to your mom and that's where you can find a good, like, girl. Her mom was like, no, listen, first of all, what y'all should sit down and do is pray.
Oh, okay.
And work out together. That's an asset.
Yes.
That's definitely an asset that you need in your marriage and your relationship to say, first thing y'all need to do is sit down and let's listen to each other and reason this thing out. Those are the kind of assets you need in your marriage.
So, instead of what I would do, if I was you, this is what I would do. Those people you run from.
Got it.
If I was you, I would, because they may not apply to you.
If you find out they've been divorced 6 times.
So, yeah, they're probably not exactly who we want to listen to. So we're going to get ready to wrap up the show in a second. However, wanted to ask one more thing. If you can give just a few specific keys to a successful marriage, what would they be?
First, it would be stay in love.
And I know it sounds simple, but you notice when you're in love, you don't see a lot of the silly things that starts to tear in a marriage. The toothpaste, the top being off the toothpaste, the toilet seat being up, you left your clothes. When you're in love, those things, they may annoy you, but they're not something that's going to drive a wedge in your marriage.
Got it.
So the first thing we do is we tell couples, stay in love. And when you're in love, your communication will be better. Your time and make sure you spend good, and I know we're going fast, make sure you learn to spend good quality time with each other. Whether it's, we always tell people, we like spending time with each other, whether it's on the red carpet at a big glamorous event, or it's sitting at home just chilling, doing nothing.
I love
And
that.
we learn to laugh off the dumb stuff. Everything is not as deep. Some stuff is just funny. We can tell you about our biggest argument ever, and it was just funny. Because, you got to just sit sometime and just say, you know what, that was a real mess, wasn't it? And move on with life.
Yeah, and you have to keep fun incorporated in your relationship. Just if that goes with your laughter, but you need good fun. Just you and the spouse. Not to say there's time for the family,
Yes.
but to keep the family together, the husband and the wife need that time together.
And remember, with us, we're here to take over the world. And
Okay.
with each other, we know we can.
As a couple.
As a couple.
Got it.
Not as individuals, as a couple.
All right. That's great. That's amazing.
I love it. Thank you so much. You two are such an inspiration, particularly for us, trying to do the same things and really blend our family and doing some of the goals and our visions that we have. So thank you so much.
Thank you guys for having us.
No, thank you for coming on the show. Before we get going, are there any other projects? Because we want to stay connected. What's going on with the Manns right now?
What we're doing now is we're getting ready to shoot Man and Wife. It's our new sitcom.
Really?
And we start shooting in June.
That's
So
great.
just stay tuned to David and Tamela. Follow us on Twitter at David and Tamela. We'll kind of give you, some where we're going to be as far as the network and everything else. But we start shooting in June.
So
And
do you,
also, if you don't have the new Tamela Mann, the deluxe, with the new single I Can Only Imagine, I would greatly appreciate it if you would go pick it up. And for those who have supported, thank you so much for it. And we love you. We couldn't do it without you. Thank you.
Man, we're about to go start an argument just so we can make up.
Oh, hey, Hey, that's fine. That works for us too. So we got to get ready to wrap up the show. We definitely thank you so much for agreeing to come on. We've been talking about the business of marriage with Mr. and Mrs. David and Tamela Mann right here on the OEG's Unscripted with Reese and Grace. Again, you can follow David and Tamela on Twitter. Make sure I get this right. That's at David and Tamela.
Yes.
At David and Tamela on Twitter. How about, are you on Facebook?
Facebook's the same, at David and Tamela.
And your website?
Chili Man, that's
TamelaMann.com. So you heard it here first.
Yes.
Yeah. So where are we going to get to see the show? The man and wife.
We're pretty close to working out a network. You know, until the ink is dry, you can't really say.
Yes.
You know, because in this business, it can be like, well, we're going to be on this network, and things change. But we're pretty close, so just follow us at David and Tamela. And once we sign on the dotted line, we're going to make a big announcement.
Excellent. We love keeping up with you all. We're going to follow you as much as we possibly can. We definitely want to know exactly when this show is airing so we can promote it and get everyone to tune in.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much again for tuning in. This has been another edition of the OEG's Unscripted with Reese and Grace. We've been talking with Mr. and Mrs. David and Tamela Mann about the business of marriage. Michelle has been live with you. We have to shout her out because she's constantly doing her thing. Facebook, /OEG.unscripted, Twitter, at OEG Unscripted, and of course right here on www.accesstv.org. I love when you say that.
Thank you.
Can you say it again?
accesstv.org.
You and your 1-900 voice. All right. we got to get out of here. Tune in every Tuesday live at 7 p.m. right here. You all have a good week.
At Hartford Public Schools, we care about one thing above all, the future of our kids. That's why we're dedicated to providing all students with the knowledge and skills needed in the new global culture. Hartford Public Schools is thriving. More student success stories, more world-class facilities, more university and corporate partnerships, more amazing talent coming and staying in Hartford. This is how education is supposed to work. Welcome to Hartford Public Schools, where the future is present.